What up, kids? I'm not wearing sunglasses. What up, kids? What the fuck up, kids? This is the QDecent Podcast. Welcome. Dude, I'm eating raspberries. It's fucking really nice out this morning, man, and I'm feeling good, man. I'm flying high. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll eat on the podcast. I don't care if that seems inappropriate in my brainstem. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm gonna eat raspberries today. And you can just sit there and watch me eat raspberries. Anyway, guys. What up? Welcome to another episode. And this is actually take 2. I'm gonna tell you right now, is about 8 minutes in, and I was telling a story. I was actually telling the story about the evolution of QD, where that came from. I was talking about my boy Banner Miller MD, and he fucking called me and interrupted the take. So shouts out to Banner Miller MD for interrupting the take. But I should have taken the SIM card out of my phone before I started recording, so it's my fault. Woo! Okay. I'm gonna eat another raspberry. You like that? Like watching me eat raspberries? I think it's pretty neat. So, we're gonna start this story over today. A lot of people wonder why the fuck this is called the QDecent Podcast. Like, what is that? Usually people don't ask me why, but I know they're thinking it. So what is QDecent? What is it? QDecent? How do you... It's just Q within the word decent. That's what I tell them. And they're like, oh, okay. And they don't ask any further questions, but I know in their head they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? But I'm going to tell you guys today how this came about, who came up with this shit. And a lot of it goes out to my boy Banner Miller MD and my brother, Presumed Dead / Angus. Presumed Dead, check him out. And so, okay, you guys know that South Park episode where they go on vacation to Colorado. It's like a timeshare condominium fucking meeting for the parents, and then the kids are out skiing. Parents get stuck in the conference, whatever. I'm sure you've seen it. Anybody who's anybody has seen this shit. Anyway, so Stan Marsh encounters this adult skier who eventually gives him the name Stan Darsh. He wants to be better than him. He wants to beat him at skiing. He wants to be the best. He said, "What's your name, kid?" "Stan Marsh." "Huh, Stan Marsh? More like Stan Darsh." Obviously, my impression is not very good of this guy because I haven't seen the episode in a long time. But we all got a good kick out of that. That was great. Anyway, cut to one time. So back when I was a kid, I was bigger. I was chubby, overweight for sure. I mean, I still am overweight. Working on it. I'm working on it. And I'm on the last belt notch. Chill out. And I'm losing my train of thought. My brother, back in high school, had a friend, Rudy. And I guess he was also a bigger guy. I never met Rudy. But he came home one day and he was telling me about how he's making fun of Rudy in class. He was saying, Rudy looked like a whale. Or, Rudy looked like a manatee. I was not there for this. Rudy looked like a whale, but he told me about it and I thought it was funny. And then as I got, I don't know, I was big from 3rd grade till 9th or 10th grade. And so in this time, my brother started to say that, I also looked like a manatee. And then he started calling me Sean Manatee. And that, Sean Hannity, what is he in? I don't even know what he does. But we thought that was pretty comedically humorous. And then Sean Manatee went for a while, and then it was just Sean. And I went by Sean for a while, man. It was just, SHAWN, Sean. Fuck that SEAN shit, except for my boy Sean Idol. Shout out to him. He's aight. But yeah, I think it should be spelled SHAWN. But yeah, I went by that for a while. And then one day, we connected that shit with the South Park episode, and I became Sean Darsh. Everybody loved that. Sean Darsh, SD. And that was that for a while. And then one day I remember, so I had this friend, or I knew this girl in high school named Quang Pham. And I think I probably heard her name once in 7th grade, and I thought it was silly for like a second or a day. And then I, got used to it. That's her name. It's fucking her name. But I remember one day I told Angus and his, at the time, roommate, Banner Miller MD, they were living together, we would hang out. I told them about this girl, Quang Pham, and they were like, wait, what's her name? What is it? Quam Phang? And I was like, no, it's Quang Pham. And they thought it was hilarious. And one thing led to another, and before I knew it, I was Quam Darsh. That's what they were calling me. QD, Quam Darsh, that's what it stands for. And from there, it became a couple of other, turns of phrase. Dismal, Dismal, Decent was one of them. Quamstradamstrius, it's my favorite one. And that had to have been Angus. And then one day, and this is another one of those stories that I wasn't actually there for. I was a part of it, but I was not there for it. I called up Angus one day. He was at home with Banner Miller MD. He sees my name on the caller ID. Doesn't say Sean, doesn't say Emmett, probably. I don't know what the fuck it said. He sees that I'm calling. And he shouts out, SD! And then he answers the phone and says, what up, QD? And they busted out laughing, I guess. And I heard about, what happened before he answered the call later. And even though I wasn't there for it, it was hilarious. I still think it's funny. That's how you know some shit's funny, when you didn't have to be there. Oh, you had to be there. No, you didn't have to be there for this. I loved it. We did it forever. SD! What up, QD? That's just how it was. And yeah, so QDecent has always been my favorite variation of QD, so that's why we're calling it the QDecent Podcast. And I think I told that story better the first time, but I had to delete that take. Thanks, Banner Miller MD. Anyway, maybe he'll call again. I put my SIM card in this other phone, so if anybody calls today, maybe we'll call out today. We'll see. Anyway, what do I have for you guys today? I'm drinking Monster Man, Monster Rehab, and dude, I went to France back in the day, and my French sister, her name was Frédérique, or Fred, they called her Fred. I'm in love with a girl named Fred. She wrestles like a Greek. That's some shit from a musical. And she used to make fun of me for saying my bad. Oh, my bad. Because, in Europe, you don't say sorry all the time like you do in the Midwest. You just walk by someone. You don't even have to accidentally bump into them and you say, I'm sorry. It's just fucking how it is here. I don't usually do it. Sometimes I do it. I'm guilty of it. But I think in Europe you say pardon, or in France, say, pardon me, excuse me, that kind of thing, But I didn't want to say sorry. In French, you say sorry is désolé. That's like a fucking real, like you have to actually have fucked up to say sorry. So I didn't know what to say. I was saying my bad, and I guess that's like not really translatable. It's not an easy translation. And so I would say my bad in English, and I remember her making fun of me saying, my bad, my bad. It's like, fuck, dude. It's an expression, I swear. Anyway, do you know they took away the fucking Boy Scouts here? I don't know about other states or other areas, but I live with some older people, And recently, the scouts, boys and girls, showed up to my house to pull weeds for these old people that I live with and around. And I went out there and talked to him a little bit. This one kid, Hunter, he was like 17, shouts out. I told him to watch the show, so hopefully he's watching. Shouts out to Hunter. And we kind of made friends. We talked about Call of Duty a little bit. Well, I remember when I told him I was running. I told him I was a runner. He looked me up and down. And I was like, screw you, dude. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Anyway, I miss being 17. Being 17 was fun, man. I had a blast. I mean, I was well on my way to fucking up my life, but I still had a great time, dude. I loved being 17. I miss it. And like today, dude, I used to be, when I was 17, I had big ideas. I used to like have big plans. I thought my life was going to be XYZ, but I didn't really care though. When I look back on it, really I was on my way down a bad path the whole time, but I used to have big aspirations. I went to college and all that for a little bit until I dropped out to do drugs, but after I dropped out, dude, I was in a bad spot. I was, way behind the curve. My life wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't on trend to get anywhere good. I was on trend to be dead in a couple of years. And now at this point, I feel like in some ways, about what I know, what I've learned, how old I am at this point, I feel like I'm on trend to be ahead of a lot of these motherfuckers out here on planet Earth, man. And that's a big change for me. I feel really lucky to have learned lessons early. I don't know if I've said that before in this podcast, but I've learned some important adult lessons that a lot of adults don't learn or feel or figure out early on, and that's really cool. I'm fucking really lucky for that. I've found I'm working on, still finding my thing, my identity, how I feel, what I like. Dude, it's so hard to not do, I don't know what it was, and it's probably not hard for everybody, but it took me a long time to figure out how to not give a fuck about like other people and whether they like me and stuff like that. Spend so much time like doing favors for people that didn't really appreciate it or didn't really get me where I thought it was going to be getting me. Like, I wonder who put in my head that I should be doing anybody favors. I mean, if you love someone, you should do stuff for them. But you shouldn't do stuff for people to get them to like you. That doesn't work. They'll just think you're fucking, oh, this is a person who's going to do something for me. And I don't really, maybe it makes you look weak. I definitely think it does, actually. But yeah, I'm hoping that I just don't fuck up these lessons when I try to impart them onto my son. I'll slowly do it. I'll slowly sprinkle it in throughout the years. Hopefully it'll be fine. I don't want to mess up anything or say anything. Like, I don't want to go too fast with him. Because I know that when you tell kids stuff, they don't give a fuck, man. I told Hunter, he told me he could figure out all this stuff in video games that his friends couldn't figure out. I could get to this spot and get there and figure this glitch out. And maybe I wasn't the best at playing, but I could think outside the box. And I was like, dude, you gotta use that kind of thinking in your real life. And he was like, oh, well, I just don't really care about my real life that much. And I was like, boom, there, that's your fucking problem, man. But when you tell kids stuff, they think they know everything already, so they don't listen. They hear you, oh, yeah, I heard you, I get it, I understand. They don't really get it. And so I can't just like say these important life lessons that took me a couple of years to learn to my kid and hope he gets them. I can try. One thing I'm gonna make sure to explain is right away is that a drug addiction is an illness. It's getting sick. I'm gonna associate it with getting sick because that's what it is, and you really don't want to get sick. You don't want to get sick with addiction. That's what I'm gonna tell him. You don't want to get People get really sick from addiction. It's a special kind of sick, man. You don't want that. You're going to ruin your shit. Don't want to get sick. Sick diction. Man, you got some sick diction going on in that podcast of yours. That's because I was sick with addiction, man. Back when I was a little kitten. Nah, I was never a kitten. Dude, a message to men out there. Why are you still paying for everything when you go on dates? When you like a girl, why are you buying her shit? Do you want to buy her shit for the rest of your life? So you're just going to start off early? Do you think she'll like you more if you buy something? Dude, if a girl likes you more because you paid for her meal, is that the kind of girl you want to go out with, guys? If a girl expects you to pay for her fucking anything, is that really who you want to be hanging out with? Someone who's going to make you pay for everything and then just like, I don't know, let you sleep with them? Dude, you're also letting them sleep with you. So why don't we split the check 50-50? Why don't you get this one and I'll get the next one? There's fucking men out there, if you go on a first date and you pay for the shit, next time, if she expects you to pay for it a second time too, and doesn't, offer to pay for the second meal, just like think about that for a minute, man. Why, it's 2020, why are men still paying for shit? Why are you doing that? Because of gender roles? Ha! Ha! Gender roles. Fuck a gender role. But, they still have the Girl Scouts. You can still be a Girl Scout, but there's no more Boy Scouts. It's just the Scouts. That's probably not true everywhere. Isn't that weird, though? Fucking Scouts, man. I've always said I used to be a Scout. I remember I was a Cub Scout, and I was a Weebelo Scout, and then I went to the first day of Boy Scouts, and, the kids showed up, the parents showed up, the parents separated for a meeting, the kids separated with one of the guys, and we did fitness tests. And like I just told you, your boy was a chubby kid. I was chubby. I didn't like working out. And they made us do laps, they made us do push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups, and then I guess they were gonna, test us again at the end of the season, or whatever the fuck you call it, dude. And I didn't like that. I was like, why are you making me work out? I thought this was about America and fucking, what's it called? Soapbox Derby. That's what I wanted to do. And my mom apparently was getting some judgmental looks because her son was fat, telling her that he needed to work out more. You should really make him work out more. And they were giving her the judgy looks, right? And the Boy Scouts were some conservative people. My mother was a very liberal person. And I remember after the parents' meeting and the fitness tests, we got back together. And I was like, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. And she was like, okay, this is a whole new level of Republican. I'm taking you out. Sounds good. And I was like, bet. That was fucking easy. But these Scouts were pretty cool, man. Shouts out to Hunter and his little brother. I don't know. He liked to fish. I don't know what his name was. Switching gears a little bit. I've always said, dude, and this is a controversial point of view, maybe. I've always said that if I could have a button, if this fucking button right here would instantly do the Thanos snap, basically, fucking pull a Thanos, get rid of 50% of the world's population at random, and I don't get to choose in this hypothetical if, which side I'm on. It's random. Or alternatively, if it was, the top half of contributors to society. I don't know if I'm on the top half or not. Either way, man, I would press that button. because I feel like there's too many people. I feel like if people were gone, it would be better. And I'm not saying I hope the coronavirus kills everybody, because I don't. But if I fucking had that button, man, I would press that shit. I don't care. I would do it. I think it'd be worth it. It'd be sad for a little while, but then things would be better. You know, you lose your fucking grandma, you lose your little sister, whatever. Like, people will die if I press this button. I might die. I think it'd be for the greater good. You know, if you actually put the button in front of me, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't press it. But I would like to think that I would press that shit. I don't even know, man. I'm confused these days. I'm confused as to what my political standings are, leanings are. We shouldn't be liberal, conservative, left, right. That shouldn't be the label. But I do think there's some truth in, you know, that there's a spectrum. And I would like to find out if I'm a liberal or a conservative, because I was always raised with liberals. My mom and my dad and my brother and everybody around me was a liberal Democrat. And I've recently come to have some conservative points of view. So I'm just like a little curious where I'm leaning. Conservative. Political typology quiz. Typology quiz. Let's try this out, guys. We're gonna go on Pew Research Center. Oh. Next. Okay, 17 questions. We can do this, guys. Why do I keep thinking I have sunglasses? Political typology? I don't know that word. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? 1. The government should do more to help needy Americans, even if it means going deeper into debt. Or 2. The government today can't afford to do much more to help the needy. I don't agree with either one of those, man. Because there are needy people who are actually needy. They actually have needs. You know, people with mental illness, people with drug addiction, and people with, you know, actual diseases and shit who can't afford healthcare. And there are also people who just don't try. And if everybody's entitled to, you know, get the welfare, get the government help, then fucking, like, why? It's hard. It's a hard one. But if I say which one comes closest, I think that the US dollar is about to crash anyway. Oh, shit, I don't know, man. Government today can afford to do much more to help the needy, or the government should do more to help needy Americans. I'm going to go with the government today. Can't afford to do much to help. I agree that they can't afford it. Doesn't mean they shouldn't do it, but I'm going to go with that. Question 2, you guys. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? Government is almost always wasteful and inefficient. Or government often does a better job than people give it credit for. Man, I think there's a lot of good people in government. Maybe it's my Parks and Rec talking, but you know, Ron Swanson here would say wasteful and inefficient. I believe that it's wasteful and inefficient, but I also believe people are trying. But I don't think it's often that the government, I don't know, man. I don't know what the government's doing. I'm going to go with often does a better job than people give it credit for. Because right now people are doing nothing but talking shit. So let's go with that. All right, so it's going to be the same question every time. It's going to give me 2 statements. The best way to ensure peace is through military strength, or good diplomacy is the best way to ensure peace. I'm going to go with good diplomacy. All right, racial discrimination is the main reason why many black people can't get ahead these days, or Blacks who can't get ahead in this country are mostly responsible for their own condition. Whoa, that's a statement. I'm going to go with that first one. Government regulation of business is necessary to protect the public interest. I think that might be true. Or government regulation of business usually does more harm than good. I agree with both of those. Definitely agree with both of those statements, but I think idealistically, I would go with the second one. Does more harm than no. If you leave people, especially this many people, to their own devices, the evil people are going to be really motivated to be evil because, crime pays and all that. So I guess I'm going to pick the first one. Government regulation of business is necessary to protect the public interest. I feel weird about clicking this, but I'm clicking it. Which of the following statements? Okay. Homosexuality should be accepted by society, or homosexuality should be discouraged by society. I'm not even going to tell you which one I picked because it's obvious. No, I'll tell you because some of y'all are probably dumb. Homosexuality should be accepted by society. You know what it really should be is that people should stop giving a fuck what gets your dick hard. Like, what do we care what makes people horny? It's not like who somebody has sex with is going to affect me in any way. So that's how I feel about that, dude. We shouldn't even be talking about sexuality and whether or not it's accepted in society. But it's wild. We just passed this shit a couple weeks ago that in the Supreme Court that you can't fire people for being gay or transgender or queer or whatever to LGBT protections in the workplace. Dude, I actually lost a job one time. Well, I showed up one day to work and I had applied for the job. Dude, I was wearing leggings when I applied for this job and nobody noticed. But then I showed up one day and I was, in full makeup. Had fucking tits on me and all that. I was like in girl mode. And then my boss came up. This was in Tennessee. Shout out to Dalt's American Grill. I don't give a fuck. He told me, dude, you gotta take the makeup off or go home. And I was like, okay, I'll go home. But that was before the Supreme Court ruling. I probably could have argued if it was after. Probably could have kept that job. Anyway, yeah, we don't need to be, society doesn't need to give a fuck who you're fucking. That's my real opinion. All right. Business corporations make too much profit, or most corporations make a fair and reasonable amount of profit. I don't think amount of profit can be fair or reasonable. I don't think that's a word to describe the amount of profit. But in general, I think they probably make too much right now. I don't know. I think people should be, chill. I think people shouldn't be greedy. So I'm going to go with that. A lot of these are fucking, one of the, you can tell which one's conservative or which one's liberal, but we're still going to see here what this turns out to be. Stricter environmental laws and regulations cost too many jobs and hurt the economy, or stricter environmental laws and regulations are worth the cost. I'm going to go with that second one. Immigrants today strengthen our country because of their hard work and talents, or immigrants today are a burden on our country because they take our jobs, Turk jobs, housing and healthcare. I'm going to go with that first one. Dude, some immigrants, man, illegal immigrants are some of the chillest people ever, some of the nicest people ever. Because they're just trying to chill, man. And they're afraid of getting kicked out by assholes, but they're just trying to chill. So that makes them chill people a lot of the time, I feel like. Okay, poor people today have it easy because they can get government benefits without doing anything in return. Sort of true. Poor people have hard lives because government benefits don't go far enough to help them live decently. I think I'm going to go with that first one, you guys. because I know there's a lot of poor people out there. I also know there's a lot of people who could be applying for jobs and they're just sitting there panhandling or doing drugs. I hate panhandling, man. You can apply for government assistance for sure. That's a real thing. You can do it. You can apply for jobs. That's also a real thing. Who told you it was a good idea to sit out on the street and ask people for money? No sympathy. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? The economic system in this country unfairly favors powerful interests, or the economic system in this country is generally fair to most Americans. I think once you're powerful and you got money, you definitely have power. I also think it's generally fair. No, I'm going to go with that first one. Unfairly favors powerful interests. Sure. We got to pick one. So I'm not agreeing with every statement, but I'm picking the one that most closely aligns with my view. Our country has made the changes needed to give blacks equal rights with whites. Or our country needs to continue making changes to give blacks equal rights with whites. This is a tough one right now. But a lot of people in the country are continuing to be fucking discriminatory. And it's definitely real. It's definitely still happening. I think a lot of people have made the changes that they can in their lives. They've confronted their own racism and internalized racism and all that, and they feel bad for what they've done and all that. And those people are out there too. But I'm going to have to go with that our country needs to continue making changes. That's absolutely true. All right, 13 out of 17. We're almost there, guys. It's best for the future of our country to be active in world affairs, or we should pay less attention to problems overseas and concentrate on problems here at home. I like that. We got some shit to figure out, you guys. I'm concentrating on my life and bettering myself. America should do the same. Most people who want to get ahead can make it if they're willing to work hard. I would like to agree with that. Or hard work and determination are no guarantee of success for most people. Right now, Corona times, you can be hardworking and successful and you still get fucked. But I think I'm gonna have to go with that first one, because I think if you work hard, you can do good for I think if you are determined and you really want to get ahead, that you can. In general. The obstacles that once made it harder for women than men to get ahead are now largely gone, or there are still significant obstacles that make it harder for women to get ahead than men. I think we're getting there, you guys. If you would have asked me this 2 years ago, it would have been a pretty different answer. But I honestly, and I don't know if I'm qualified to say this, because I don't know and I'm dumb, but I think that we're getting there. I think it's, it's definitely got to be harder. We're getting there, but there are still significant obstacles. That's what I'm going to go with. 2 more. In foreign policy, the U.S. should take into account the interests of its allies, even if it means making compromises with them. Or in foreign policy, the U.S. should follow its own national interests, even when its allies strongly disagree. I don't really know what our national interests are. It was person to person, I picked that second one, but I think when we're talking about the whole world, we got to make compromises, so we'll go with that. Last one. Oh, that's a stupid last one. In politics today, do you consider yourself a Republican, Democrat, or independent? I don't know, dude. Independent, I guess. I don't know, dude. I'm taking the quiz I clicked independent, and then it asked me again, as of today, do you lean more to the Republican Party or more to the Democrat Party? Dude, that's why I'm taking the quiz. I don't know how this is going to affect it, but I'm just going to click one at random. I'm not even going to say it out loud. Your best fit is disaffected Democrats, along with 14% of the public. Disaffected, what does that mean? This majority-minority group, majority-minority, mostly identifies as Democratic or leans toward the Democratic Party. Disaffected Democrats strongly believe the economic system unfairly favors powerful interests and that business corporations make too much profit. Relatively few believe their family has achieved the American dream, and 24% believe it is out of reach for their family. Most say the government should do more to help the needy and the poor have hard lives because government benefits do not go far enough to help them live decently. In contrast to the other Democratic-oriented groups, a majority, 63%, characterizes government as almost always wasteful and inefficient. Compare your answers with results from our national survey. So, you answered the economic system in this country. Yeah, it's showing me what I answered. So, it's telling me that I don't get it, man. This was a stupid quiz. But I don't care. I had fun doing it. And it was good for the podcast. So, disaffected Democrats. What does that mean? What is a disaffected Democrat? We're going to ask Google. What? Full article, disaffected Democrats, political attitudes, and political action in Portugal? Dude, I don't even know, man. I'm way too stupid for this kind of thing. How America broke up with the Democratic Party. I'm an opportunity Democrat. What are you? This was written in 2017. Ugh, that dude's ugly. And now you're trying to sell me shit. Okay. This has been a good episode, you guys. Thanks for listening with me. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for fucking listening to my weird stories. And I love you, kids. Happy Independence Day to all political leanings. And yeah, peace out, folks.